no pages.
I couldn't be happier with this. I mean, I think we're gonna have an awesome food plot for late season. Looking great. What is it, July 9th today?
I mean,
it's head high on you.
I would call that head high on 6'3".
Yeah. Looks awesome.
Man. You drive by it, it doesn't look like as tall as it actually is. It's like, man.
Yeah.
And then you step in here, you're like, geez.
Healthy, dark green. It's fun to look side by side at what fenced corn looks like and what this looks like.
Head high versus ankle high.
I mean, I don't know that I've ever seen browse pressure on corn stalks quite like this. I mean, every single stalk is bitten off. Welcome back to another week of Midwest Whitetail. Me and the guys are out here on the River Bottom farm getting a little bit of work done, and we're just going around checking out the food plots. Last time I checked in with you guys, we were planting corn out here, and we've always struggled in the past getting corn to be successful. When we first planted it, we had a lot of browse pressure, and so we came back in a couple weeks later and we put an electric fence around all the plots except a couple of them. And this is one of the ones that we didn't fence. And it's amazing to see the difference in what is fenced and what is not fenced. I mean, almost every single corn plant stalk is browsed down to the ground. I originally planted the corn right here I was getting used to the planter, and I had actually intentions of planting sorghum here, so that's why I didn't fence the corn. And we've come back and interseeded sorghum, and the sorghum's doing great, it's popping up. But it's pretty neat to be able to show the comparison of the fenced versus unfenced. The first plot we stopped by is the big 8-acre field that I shot merino on last year, and that corn is over my head, looking great. It's July 9th. And so we're gonna have a great crop of food out here for late season. And we're gonna take a spin around the farm and check out some of the other plots. We've done a few different things. I've kind of got an experiment going out here. Some of the plots we sprayed a second time. Some of the plots have a lot of volunteer beans, and we're gonna go check everything out and see how it's looking. I mean, this looks good too. And this was obviously fenced later than everything else, but we weren't sure about fencing, and this one was looking pretty good, then we decided to fence it kind of late. But this was planted into a mowed sorghum 3-acre patch. So it had like a nice thatch and the good germ rate. It was actually the first field I planted out here with a new planter. There's quite a bit of foxtail coming up in it, but we're gonna get a good crop right here. I didn't want to spray it by the time I got here to check it just because I didn't want to run over a bunch of corn.
This is why we experimented with the different outfits.
Mare's tail. So this plot is the least treated. This was a bean field last year, and you can kind of see I planted it the same time I planted that sorghum, and you can see the taller corn. That's the little bit that actually germinated and did well. So Rye came back in and replanted it, and the corn came up. We came and checked it. The mare's tail was coming up pretty thick, and then there was so much volunteer beans. I was like, let's just let this little 1.5 acre patch go and see what happens. This field's looking awesome. Getting rid of the competition. This field looked exactly like the last one we were in. Full of mare's tail, full of foxtail, corn kind of stunted. And came in and sprayed it, called the guys to find out what we could hit that mare's tail with. And we bought some Diflex and mixed it in with some Roundup. And it looks great. We got just the corn in here now. I'm happy with it. Good job, Rye.
Thanks, buddy.
I got a bar.
That's all you need, right?
I guess. Okay. We're just getting wrapped up, pulling all the cards out of the cameras and getting that Cuddeback system set up. Close call on the last camera right here. This is a spot we've run a camera every summer since we've had this farm. And we had a derecho, a severe thunderstorm come through Iowa a few days ago that was classified as a derecho, came all the way from the Dakotas and blew a dead ash tree down, and I don't know how it missed the camera, but excited the camera survived, and I'm excited to get back to the cabin and take a look at all these cards. Thought I'd take this opportunity to kind of go through some of my strategies in the summertime. Right now, we're getting late enough in the summer that we're starting to set more mock scrapes, and we love using that preorbital gland scent and you know, getting some bare dirt under some licking branches, and we've talked a lot about that. I like to use filled edges. You know, it's kind of the path least resistance idea. We keep all the paths mowed, the edges of clover fields, edges of the fresh bean fields. The other day we went out on the home farm and just the edge of a cornfield, between a cornfield and a fence, if it's cleaned out, mowed, or a corner, you know, deer just seem to walk that. And so I've had good luck putting cameras there. And then these community scrapes, you know, there's certain big scrapes that are used year round by deer. And that's something that you sort of figure out over the course of owning a property. You know, I deploy a lot of cameras. We love in the fall moving them to really active scrapes. And there's one out here on this farm that, as the deer transition out to the big ag fields, there's an outside corner timber edge that we mow a path along. There's just a great big tree there that's low to the ground, and it's just a great bunch of licking branches. And the deer, all the does, bucks, they just use it year round. So I keep a camera active there, and this time of year, I don't have to add any scent or anything. I mean, it's ready to go, and bucks are visiting it frequently. And last but not least is either mineral sites and feeders. So this year is the first year I've actually done a feed program. Starting this late winter, I started running a protein supplement. And you know, you have to back down your rate on the cameras. You know, I go down from 15 seconds on most things to about 2 minutes. Of course, once the deer get accustomed to going to the feed, it's a great spot to get a lot of your bucks. And a lot of our best bucks that I'm getting pictures of right now, of course, are on the feeder. So. We've had cameras out for a few weeks now on the home farm. A couple familiar faces I've been showing back up. We've got Big Mac. Big Mac has lived on that farm since I've owned it. He'll be 7.5 this year. We've got 3 years of sheds off of him, just tons of history with him, and he's looking like he's putting on a good set of headgear, so he'll be one that we're definitely looking for this year. And then there was a big framed 4-year-old tin. We never named him last year, but he was one of the ones that I was looking forward to see what he turned into this year. And he's still got quite a bit of growing to do, but he's looking great. I mean, he's looking to be a big, typical 10, big frame deer. So those are the two notable ones on the home farm. And then down here, we don't often get a bunch of bucks in the summer. As in another month or so, they'll start moving back in here, and we'll start picking up more of them. We'll see if anything showed up today on this card pull. But on the feeder to the far south, we had a big old 7-point buck last year. He actually looked a lot like the big 8. He's been on the feeder the entire summer. He's a 7-point again with a double beam now and a big kicker off the base, super mature deer. So he'll be another one that we're hopefully looking to catch up with this year. And then there's a couple younger bucks with splits and just really cool looking racks that are growing, and I haven't sifted through pictures to see if I can figure out which ones, but they're starting to slowly show up, and we're gonna start building the hit list for this year. So speaking of supplemental feeding, as I mentioned last time I was on, we partnered with a company called Aftershock this year, and that's owned by a guy named Matt. He's outside of St. Louis area, great guy, great customer service, and a really cool product. There's essentially 2 ways through their products that you can feed your deer herd and supplement their nutrition. The first way is this product, Aftershock Complete Feed Pro. It's actually just a 50-pound bag of protein feed with 3 different supplements mixed into it. One is called Antler Blast, one is called Extreme Coral Calcium, and one is the Aftershock Mineral. You can actually buy those 3 separately, and we'll talk about that in a second. But the Complete Feed Pro is ready to go, ready to put in the feeder. It's 18% protein, and it's got a 90% TDN, that total digestible nutrients, which when you start looking among all the different products out there, that's a really nice high level of nutrients within the bag of feed that the deer can take in and utilize. That product is maple flavored, which I can tell you, we got a pallet of it, we put it out in all the feeders, the deer were on it right away and actually went through it pretty quick. So that maple flavoring is a great attractant, gets the deer on it really quick and they want to eat it. So it's working pretty well so far, excited to see what it can do. The next way to feed is Matt will work with your local feed mill and you can get the protein pellets and the general protein mixture done locally. And then you order the supplements from Matt. That's the Antler Blast, the Extreme Coral Calcium, and the Mineral. And you have it mixed locally. You just pick it up there and it saves you on shipping. He does ship all the products nationwide, so if you just want to go with the Complete Feed Pro, obviously that's fine. But ordering pallets of bags of feed can get a little costly, so he has this second option that allows you to work with the local mill. So the first supplement is Antler Blast, and it's essentially an antler growing supplement. It's got vasodilators in it, which that does what it sounds like it does. It dilates blood vessels. That helps deliver the nutrients to the antlers. And it also reduces heat stress, which is kind of an interesting thing they've seen in some studies. In the summer months, that's really important. I think one of the things that's difficult to sort of figure out with your deer herd, why some years deer don't make jumps or they go backwards, is all the environmental stressors that exist. And certainly hot, dry summers are one of them. And so having a supplement in your mixture that helps lower their core body temperature and helps reduce that heat stress just helps the deer be, healthier. The next supplement is Extreme Coral Calcium, and that as a form of calcium has an extremely high bioavailability. And what that word means is just, when we take it into our body can use it. And they've done some really interesting studies with this in the feed mixture on antler crush test. And so taking a segment of the main beam and putting it in a press and crushing it on a farm prior to the feed program was introduced, crushing it at, an antler at say 7 pounds or something like that, and then feeding for a year or two and then doing the same thing on shed antlers. And in some instances, it was 10 times stronger. And so it's pretty interesting. I mean, calcium is a mineral that we all need to have healthy bones, and it's pretty neat to see that they've sort of shown the benefits of adding that to the feed in antler strength. And that can result in, just less broken tines and less brittle antlers in your deer herd. Those first two, Antler Blast and Extreme Coral Calcium, are not designed to feed on their own. I mean, those need to be mixed into the feed. So you order those from Aftershock and send them to you, and you bring them to the local mill and mix them into the feed. The last one is the Mineral, the Aftershock Mineral. It's just a really nice mineral blend. And that can be used either way. That can of course be just put at a mineral site on the ground like you normally would use mineral, or it can be mixed into the feed. Matt also offers a 365-day-a-year nutrition and supplemental feeding consultation. So if you guys have questions, have been curious about it, thinking about getting on your farm, give Matt a call. He'll talk through your scenario and figure out what works best for you. And I'm super excited to see what this will do to help our deer herd in the future. Moving forward, we've been working on getting our fall food plots in, all the brassica plots on all the different farms. We got them mowed off and got them sprayed, and so we're ready here in the next couple of weeks to get the seed in the ground. I unfortunately still don't have a drill, a no-till drill for the brassica seeds. So we've been asked about that every year, like, why are you guys tilling the dirt? And I still don't own a drill that can do brassica seeds. So I've got that rototiller on the back of my little Kubota tractor, and that's how we're gonna be putting all those plots in again. We're gonna kind of time it with the rain. We'll come break ground, seed it and pack it, and we'll be getting that done the next couple of weeks. And then also, velvet filming is right around the corner. These bucks are putting on some good headgear, and we'll certainly be out in the next few weeks trying to get some of these bucks on camera. As always, we appreciate you guys joining us, and we'll see you back next week.